What does it do, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Scotty Says. I am your host, and welcome to episode 98. And, well, I wish it were under happier circumstances, but as the calendar turns to May, the Lakers season is over. It done. Eliminated once again. Eliminated at the hands of the Denver Nuggets. The Joker and them. And I'll tell you what now. As much as I would love to still see the Lakers playing in the postseason, I feel like there is hope. I feel like the solution, the answer, is right there on the horizon for the Lakers to take that next step in 2024 and in May of 2025 for them to be playing deep into the playoffs with the King, LeBron James, leading the way. This is what I expect, and I expect that Anthony Davis, AD3, a.k.a. the Rubber Band Man Robin, I expect that he will be there also. And so I want to start by saying, trigger warning, please be advised, I am about to make some statements that perhaps will startle and infuriate you. So sit down and prepare yourselves before you go any further now. Because I think the answer is very clear as to what the Lakers need to do moving forward. And so I'm going to spell it out for you here in episode 98. So let's just go back quickly and recap, because in my last episode, I marveled at the amount of games that the King played. 72 games, I believe it was. I marveled at Anthony Davis played 76 games, most in his career. He stated, AD3, stated before the season began that he wanted to play every game, and everybody almost collapsed in laughter. Like, oh, come on, what is wrong with this dude? Well, you know, he's got the glass chin, right? But he surprised everybody. He shocked everybody. He definitely shocked me by playing 76 games. And yet we still saw the remnants of that glass jaw, because in that elimination playoff game against Denver, Michael Porter, it seemed as though he barely brushed against him, and AD3 Rubber Band went down like he had been shanked. I was like, did somebody sneak a weapon on the court? I don't see any blood. And yet there he was on the court, writhing in pain and agony. I said, did Michael Porter Jr., did he have like a little sharp edge that he used? What happened? And replay showed what it looked like in real time. It looked just like, as they now like to say, marginal contact. And down goes AD3, and in an elimination game when the Lakers are fighting for their postseason lives, AD3 was essentially useless the rest of the game. He scored 1 point after that, the rest of the way. And the Lakers needed, as you know, more points in the fourth quarter, but AD3 tended to fade in the fourth quarters in all of the games, really. It seems to be that's his thing. Remember last season now, how he would give you a monster game and then disappear, and then a monster game and then disappear. And remember, just going back a while now with AD3, how, the slightest little contact and down he goes, and you might not see him for 8-12 weeks. I give him credit. At least now when something happens, he does come back onto the court and try. But in this case, he just was out there running around playing with one arm. But LeBron James and Anthony Davis are not the Lakers' problem. They are the Lakers' best hope. You have to hope, and here's that formula I promised you. You have to hope that LeBron James can stay healthy enough and stay effective enough to have a similar type of year to what he had this year. That's your hope, and you have to hope that 83, the Rubber Band Man Robin, will be able to replicate in terms of availability what he gave us this year. And those are big hopes, as LeBron will turn 40 this year. And it's a big hope that a guy who has this history of not being able to play through things is going to somehow just flip the switch like that for 2 consecutive years. I know these are big ifs, but that's all we got. We've got to pin our hopes on that, because the alternative, see, I hear people say, well, just blow it up and rebuild. Let LeBron go. Are you mad? Are you insane? Listen, do you remember the years before LeBron James became a Laker? Do you remember? It was the most desolate stretch in Lakers franchise history, I do believe. Worse than the Smush Parker era. Worse than the Sedale Threet era. Worse. The Lakers were abysmal as Kobe's career came to a close and then he retired. They were at the bottom of the NBA for years, 6 of them, I believe, and then LeBron came and the sun shone through. So don't forget that now. And since he's been here, the Lakers became relevant, and they've been relevant even when they missed the playoffs. That first year he got here, he had them on Christmas Day when he got injured. He had them in first place, and they defeated the Golden State Warriors. And then the groin, and then the season got derailed, and then he became infatuated with getting Anthony Davis and getting rid of all those other guys. And now, I think that was all right too. Kuzma and Ingram and Hart, those guys, and Ball. That was fair. Get him out of here. He got AD, he got who he wanted. They got a championship. Okay. So we've seen that the two of them, but here's the thing now. LeBron, now 39, going to be 40 this year, in the early part of the next season. And then 83, Rubber Band, who has shown that you saw it, elimination game, marginal contact, down and out, as though somebody shanked him. And so you've got to have another star, my folks. That's what it boils down to. The Lakers have got to get another star. Get Donovan Spider Mitchell up in here somehow. Okay? They should have got Kyrie when they had the chance. Look how Kyrie is balling. And I picked Dallas over the Clips, and I expect that series is still going, but I expect I'll be right about that. But look how Kyrie the magician is balling. You pair that with LeBron and AD, you go into the finals. Joking them not going to be able to stand up to that. Even Spider. But you need a guard, a real, and here it is. Trigger warning. Be advised. Here it is, because I've told you now. You've got to keep LeBron and AD as your cornerstones, even as the years are advancing on their careers. But here is the thing. The Lakers have made too many mistakes. Pelinka and Bus, Madam Jeannie. Too many mistakes. The Rambuses. Too many mistakes. Magic in them. Remember Magic told Lonzo Ball he was going to be in the rafters? Well, if he's up there changing the wiring or something, but, too many mistakes. They could have had Ty Lue for a coach, and they wanted the nickel and dime, and bad mistake. Maybe that can be rectified, because you're going to have to deal with Pastor Pockets. We'll get to him in a bit. But the Russell Westbrook was a failed experiment. That move was a mistake. And there have been several others. And so in the offseason, after getting to the Western Conference Finals, and after Pelinka made that overhaul at the, around the All-Star break, and after that changeover, getting Westbrook out, now you've got Rui and D'Lo, and you've elevated Reeves, you see. And so that's where their mistake was this time around. After getting to the Western Conference Finals, they felt like, let's just run it back. No. Why do I say no? Because you have overvalued your personnel. And maybe in some regards, maybe you were hamstrung, but you gave Rui some money. You said, we believe in you. You pay Austin Reeves like he was a 3. You promoted him like he was a 3. You led us to believe he was the third part of a big 3. And this is where you're going to be triggered, many of you who enjoy drinking the Delulu punch. Austin Reeves is a bench player. Can you hear me now? Austin Reeves is not a big 3. He's like a 6 or a 7. He couldn't even really be your 6th man of the year candidate. He's a 7 or 8 guy on the bench. He should be anchoring the second team. And then in a long season, when you need to spell your regulars some nights and you need to eat minutes at times, give him some starts. But to suggest to the people that you are going to win a championship with D'Lo and Austin Reeves as your starting point guard and starting shooting guard in the NBA, shame on you. And shame on the fans that bought into it. But you see, they willingly drink the Delulu punch. I've heard them. The same ones who chant MVP at the game, but they chant MVP not for LeBron or even AD3. No, they chant MVP for Austin Reeves. I've heard it multiple times. I don't know if I've ever heard them chant MVP for AD3. Maybe a couple times for Bron, and Bron is a legitimate MVP. He's won an MVP, maybe the greatest player of all time before it's all said and done, and he's certainly on Mount Rushmore, but you don't chant MVP for him, you chant it for Austin Reeves. And here's the thing, you know how I know what it is? Because they did the same thing for Alex Caruso. Fan favorite, remember? Why do you think that is? MVP Caruso? And I know it must have galled LeBron many a night when he heard the crowd at Staples then, or Crypto Now, chanting MVP for Austin Reeves and for Alex Caruso, when you know what it is. Now, Alex Caruso is a good defender and a solid NBA player. But, come on now. And the same for Reeves. You gotta wake up. You gotta just deal with the reality of what it is. You'll never win a championship with Austin Reeves as your shooting guard. Starting. Do you know what a two guard looks like, you guys who think Austin Reeves should be your starting two guard? Do you? Well, if you don't, I'll give you an example of a two guard. Anthony Edwards, that's a two guard. That's the shooting guard, huh? Anthony Edwards and Austin Reeves don't belong in the same sentence. But the Lakers are starting him a shooting guard and expecting to go deep against a championship team like Denver. Nah, it's not going to work. Austin Reeves needs to be out of the starting lineup and on the bench where he belongs until he proves over time that he can consistently contribute like a starter needs to in big games and in playoff postseason scenarios. That's my belief on Austin Reeves. He's good. He belongs in the NBA. A lot of guys belong in the NBA and they're there. But to start at shooting guard for the Lakers, you can't just be some dude. You got to be about it. Until they get that covered, they're going to be stuck in neutral. So they need to work on that. A guy like Spider or Kyrie. And then here's the other thing. Let me move on off one of the backcourt guys, the two. Let me move to the one. Your starting point guard. D'Angelo Russell. Okay, well, in my opinion, humble estimation, he belongs on the bench too. He is also a bench guy. Put him in a rotation, but to have him be your starting point guard for the Lakers, trying to make a deep postseason run, you're gonna get what you've been getting. You keep doing what you've been doing, you're gonna keep getting what you've been getting. That's why the whole run it back concept, it was foolish last year and it's just downright asinine this year. Now, and then that's the other thing. At least with Reeves, he accepts his benching like a man and deals with it and plays hard. But Russell, he'll get moody and you might lose him. And the coach doesn't understand him and people are standing in the way of him and the coach. Come on, man. You play inconsistent ball. Sometimes your turnovers are abhorrent. You're a point guard who you come up short on assists. You seem to me like unless your three ball is falling, which can be lethal, but unless that's falling, you seem damn near useless out there. You fade in and out of games off the bench. And if he doesn't want to do that, get the hell out of here, D'Lo. And I've had, my perspective of D'Lo for some time as well, going back to his initial run with the Lakers and the Swaggy P situation and all of that. He just, I mentioned it in the last episode, how he made excuses saying that Schroeder got in the way of his relationship with Pastor Pockets last year, and Schroeder's gone and he's here. Well, look at you. You about to be gone too, dude. And so you've got to get rid of your starting backcourt, or make sure that they are clear that their role will be on the second unit, unless needed, unless pressed into service. Okay? And so then let's get to our forward. Now we know Bron and AD are good. Okay? But we're building around them. But Rui. Rui. Hachi. I had high hopes for Hachi because, well, he played well last season in the playoffs. It looked like the Lakers may have found something, and he's had some good regular season performances, but you saw him starting to fade going into the playoff run. And then in the postseason, he just damn near vanished. And see, that's what it is with those three, with the combination in the backcourt of D'Lo and Reeves, and then Rui. You've got magicians. They disappear. They vanish. Now you see them. Now you don't. Maybe they might pull a basket out of their hat every now and again, but then all too often, which way did they go? That's not gonna get it done. So you got to rearrange that. Now, that's just like your starting lineup. Now look at the bench. Oh no. Well, okay. I grant you, they had no Vanderbilt and Gabe Vincent. I don't know what was going on. He was out the whole season. Then he's in the playoffs like he's going to be a playoff secret weapon, and he was kind of like a dud. Spended, then witty. Done with it. Done with, then with. Okay, just nothing there. Another one of those magician. Houdini, where did he go? He vanished. Now you see him, no, actually you never saw him. He's just not there. Nothing off the bench for the Lakers. And Hayes, he's got that youthful exuberance and everything, and that's great in the regular season, but in the playoffs he looked like he was confused with what he should be doing. And really, the only one that gave you anything, and it wasn't a great amount, but it was something, was Taurean Prince. And I had said, based on the way he kind of limped into the postseason run, that maybe he needed less run. But as it turned out, he needed more. And so the Lakers got their work cut out for them, because they really need to restructure this whole thing, or you're going to keep getting the same result. You can't beat Denver like this. That's just what it is now. I don't know how much more you need to see to understand that. Stop it. Don't. Okay. That's to the organization. Don't keep running this same group of people. Don't bring these same people back here for 24-25 telling me D'Lo and Austin Reeves and Rui. It would be an abrogation of your duty. It would be complete and utter madness. So you need a bench. You need a starting lineup. And I'm afraid you probably need a coach. Now, you could have had Ty Lue, as I've mentioned, and maybe somehow you can get him to cross over from, those guys. He called them soft. And it seems like they are gonna stuck on stupid with the same deal where they want to just keep rolling with Kawhi. Kawhi does not seem to me to be the answer, but that's a Clipper problem, and Clippers gonna clip. Okay, so I'm not going to get into their analysis situation, but maybe you can swing Ty Lue up out of there. Maybe, there's other options. I've heard people say bring the Vogelmeister back. I don't know if that's the very best move you could make. But the thing is with Pastor Pockets, he seems as though he likes to turn a cliche or an emotional phrase. Especially, I've seen him in the media post-game. Every now and then in the huddle, you'll hear him, I trust that he has a decent enough staff surrounding him. But in game 2, that was the killer game. That was really the game that broke the Lakers before they ever even got to the game that they won. They were done when they lost that game. In game 2, there was a challenge that Darvin Ham, Pastor Pockets, should have contested, that could have altered the outcome, and he didn't. And then in the elimination game, people fault him for challenging in that last game. I don't fault him for that challenge because it did take 2 points off the board and give the Lakers the ball. But the timeout situation, why are you using challenges early in the game and losing timeouts and not having any to advance the ball with 3.5 seconds left when you need that to try to win? And so he makes a mistake of omission on one hand and then commission on the other. And he's young in the game when it comes to coaching, and there's a lot of pressure with Bron, Then you got his players like Rubber Band Man Robin say they don't know what they're doing on either side of the court. What? Huh? That's a stinging indictment. And Pastor Pocket said, well, we're going to agree to disagree. That's not a good look. I even heard him saying it's been a great 2 years, like he was saying sayonara. Maybe so he already knows, I don't know. We'll see. But I think you've got to try to get a quality coach. And Pastor Pockets, I'm afraid, is going to have to get his walking papers too. Maybe he can take Reeves and D'Lo with him wherever he goes. And Rui. Well, as you can tell, I think I have probably waxed on fairly well long enough. But it was an amazing season. Yet another one by the King. The thing is, LeBron is not able, by the sheer magnitude and force of his game, will a team to the finals like he could all those years. He can't do it anymore. He needs help, and he shouldn't have to do it. And they should be the Lakers. They should be burning the midnight oil, trying to figure out how to get the talent around him to give him the help that he needs. It's not Austin Reeves. It's not D'Lo. It's not Hachi. And that bench was just... And Pastor, this isn't... The Lakers' job is not a job for, getting your feet wet and learning and growing. This is a job for results, production, finals, championships, Pastor. So that is my recommendation. Kudos to LeBron and to a lesser extent as well to AD for his availability, but just a magnificent season from the King. I wish it was still going, and had they had a different matchup in that first round, maybe it would have still been going. But the basketball guys gave you what they gave you. In Denver, they really were a number one, but they gave up they choked that game off to Popovich and the Spurs for no reason, and dropped from 1-2, and that put the Lakers right there. And had they just beat the Spurs, they end up the 1, and the Lakers missed them, and they get OKC. But that's not the way it went down, was it? And so, what I'm going to ask now from you, what I'm going to ask you to do is throw me one of these now. Throw me one of these. Do you agree? Now, if you're going to come with all that hostility because you've been triggered, I'm going to stop you right there. Save it, because I already know. Okay? As Taurus Riley has said in one of his great songs, you can't fool me. Okay? But leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video. And until the next one, which won't be too long from this one, I hope. We'll see. But until then, Scotty says, one love.